And Black Flame looks so cool. Yeah. Chaos damage is good now, guys. Chaos damage. Bro, why is everything slow down? Bro, look at those. Look at those guys. 100 millions. 100 millions HP. Look at this guy. Where is he? Okay, look at this guy's HP, right? His HP right now? That's his HP. 160 millions. Gone. See how good this is? You can just not do this with red, okay? This is like speedrunning tempo 6 people. Oh my. We have too many cards in slow-mo. He's staying over there. He's gonna DC right now. Oh, Hidakora! Damn, I knew it! GG's! Hey guys, going over my current setup for the Carson Crit Oracle. Currently, I'm running a dueling 1 with Spell Springer with plus 5 level to all spell skills, increased spell damage, extra cold, extra lightning, cast speed, and crit hit chance for spells. Reason I'm going for this is allow me to use Palm of the Dreamer on my offhand to help me with the AoE clearing. Of course, I'm using the Covenant. This is like the most broken item in the game right now. That gives you access to Life Remnant and spell damage recharge life. Basically, 2 of the strongest ascendancy nodes from Blood Mage on a single item. So the normal Covenant item would look like this. It has the skill gain a base life cost equals to 100% of mana cost. We want to get rid of this with Open Cultivation and also keeping the spell damage recharge life. Instead, we can go for increased life cost efficiency on the Cultivation Corrupted. It would help us to reduce the life cost of every skills. Currently, I'm not running Blood Magic at all. Instead, I'll put Lifetime Support Gems on all my skills with Cast on Crit setup, Lifetime on Spell setup, Frost War, and Cast on Ailment. We load a slot for support skill gems, but we'll save a lot of points for the skill tree. The Oracle skill tree is probably the best setup for this build. We have access to inevitable crit, which means we don't have to cap our crit hit. We can put like a reasonable amount for it to deal more critical damage. As you can see here, I don't care about crit hit that much. My Comet's crit hit is 30% and my Spark's crit hit is around like 20%. This is why we use Oracle for this build, since we have infinite energy for cast on crit and also cast on ailment. So what are we going on the tree then? First of all, we will utilize every passive key node with end-to-end realities. As you can see, we have a lot of circles going around here, which is beautiful. We'll go from this node, take every good skills point here, and then Timeless Jewel with this skill point. We have access to spell damage, spell damage, spell damage, and some cold damage. You can try to divine this jewel until you got like a decent amount of damage buff skill node around the circle. It took me about 100 divine to try to get this much. Since you got all the passive point allocated without connected to the tree inside this circle, we want to get this passive skill node which doesn't affect the build that much. For example, we have Scarred Fate, which prevents us from recover energy shield. We don't care about energy shield. We are running Archmage with Eldritch Battery and Mind Over Matter, so this doesn't affect our build. We can get access to a really good nodes around it, like Arcane Surge, Life Regen, Cast Speed on full mana, Spell Damage, Skill Federation, and Cold Damage from this jewel. So you can try to divine this jewel until you got like Cold Damage here or Spell Damage. Elemental damage is possible too, and maybe you can get one skill over here. And then you take this keynote, this is whatever, because this Timeless Jewel is gonna change this keynote into something else. Then you can take all the good spell damage node, you divide it until you got a good number of spell damage and elemental damage around us. I got lightning damage here, but it's whatever. And also, we don't care about maximum energy shield. Since we are playing Eldritch Battery, it doesn't increase our mana. And after that, I will take all the AoE, so we can buff the elemental weakness. And next, we get this plant thing, which doesn't do anything to the build, but we can have access to meta skill energy, which is really good. Damage 50% after triggered energy. Spirit, which help a lot. And increase damage with spell that cost life, which is everything because we're using light tap. Next, we get minor matter, works like our health pool. To get less mana recovery rate, doesn't matter. We will run mana remnant for the double mana and mana regen. We use this flask so we can regen our mana without having to use any flask. You can use a normal mana flask if you have trouble regening mana, or a instant recovery mana flask. In this circle, we'll be able to get Arcane Surge effect, gain Arcane Surge, which is really good. You synergize well with this node right here. Increase spell damage and AoE when we have Arcane Surge. And crit hit, damage after crit, which we always crit. Magnitude for shock chance, more damage taken. Cast speed crit, reduce crit, doesn't matter. We have infinite crit already. More cast speed equals more energy and more cast. And of course more damage. Next, we get Black Flame. It doesn't matter if you get this node, but this is cool as hell. This makes our fire damage turn into chaos damage and turn the colors from red into purple like you see in the footage. We can still ignite enemy with our chaos damage, which contribute really well to Gason elemental ailment energies. This doesn't do anything to the build, but the reason why I'm taking this is because we have this timeless sapphire jewels with a large range radius. I have a really good modifier on this jewel. It increases critical damage bonus and critical spell damage bonus and maximum mana. Then I'll be able to get all the notable skill on this range, and everything would give me these bonuses. This is a perfect place to put this jewel since we got Black Flame and ritual cadence around it, and we can have access to this notable really easily. So we get this notable skill over here. It doesn't do much to the build, but we can get the bonuses from this jewel. For every notable skill, we got 20% crit damage bonus and 1% mana. We got this one, this one, this one, every big note. We take every big note we can get. This one doesn't stay inside the Timeless jewel range, but we take it anyway for the 50% increased damage. For the next note, we're taking Eldritch Battery. This is a must for this build. It converts all our energy shield to mana, but double mana cost. And now we'll be able to play Archmage. Since got a lot of mana, it increased 4% damage as extra lightning for each 100 maximum mana we have. For example, I'm having 3600 maximum mana right now, which means gonna give me around 130% extra lightning damage to all our non-channeling spell. And of course, we're taking all these good notable skill inside the circle range, such as increase maximum mana, spell damage per mana. This is also a mana stacker notable skill here. Crit chance, hit reduce crit chance against you. Synergize really well with Oracle. It's unlucky note. And we have the chance to increase additional remnant, which we'll have with mana remnant and life remnant. Next, we're going to get the conduit. If you could gain a charge, ally within your presence got a charge as well. I already asked AI, this means we both have the charges, so it doesn't affect the build that much. And also we get all the good notes around it, like cast speed, mana regen, critical damage and stuff. You can see here I'm using the Timeless Diamond, which give me 12 spirit. And this is another circle. I can put this here and take all the good skill points inside of the circle. Such this one, or this one. This volatility is also cool. It gives us the chaos damage buff, and we are doing a lot of chaos damage. As you can see, my comment has a portion of chaos damage just because we have this extra chaos damage node and the extra chaos from the Black Flame. To get access to this node over here, we don't took chaos inoculation, but instead we're doing a jewel from Nothing Jewel for CI. This means we don't have to take CI node, but we can still get all the extra notifier inside the circle. This is really cool because the Oracle passive node is basically a lot of free from Nothing Jewels. So with this, we'll be able to get Invoked Efficiency for the trigger spell, they'll increase damage. We're also taking all the energy gains here. Meta skill gain energies. Energize for chance to refund half of energy spent. I also took the increased extra chaos damage or hit ignore non-negative elemental resistance of frozen enemies. Since we got a lot of freeze build-up and a lot of cold damage, we're gonna freeze a lot of enemy, and this is basically working as a free Rakiata. And that's the CI note. Next, we're gonna go with this side, which give us spell damage, meta energies, increased damage trigger skill, which we always did, and then AoE for the elemental weakness skills. We are also taking this impending doom, POE 1 alert. Faster curse activation is really good, but you could also run this boot right here for curse has no activation delay. And last but not least, we're going for meta skill reservation efficiency. We took with this node for resonance, so we can have access to these two good critical hit and critical damage nodes here. And the final juice is gonna be Heart of the Wealth for which is instant, which is the most important one here. For the other start, we could get cast speed, crit damage, or extra cold, extra lightning shot, extra fire, whatever you can afford. So that's basically the tree. It looks really good. Everything is min max with Oracle, and I'm really happy about this. Shout out to Furry Pass for helping me making this tree and this amazing Oracle build. For more details on my skills, I'm running Spell Slinger with Spark, Dominus Gap for more chain, Brutal Speed, Pierce, Impurity on the Black Palm to cap our Chaos Resistance, and we can have access to these support gems freely. GG haven't fixed it yet. You got free spirit on the spot gems on the Purity Scepter, so Vitality, Mysticism for increased damage, Cannibalism, Clarity. On Life Remnant, we got Remnant Potency, Harmonic Remnants, and Cartel Reservation, which is really good. It gives us up to 40% cooldown, which you have it with the next Blink skill that we have. I have a really high level Blink skill with Aziri Impatient, Mobility for less movement penalty. After we blink, we got a bit, delay. So we get this to prevent that. And then Rapid Casting. They will get us a cooldown of 1.2. And with the Cartel Reservation spot gems, with max cooldown stacks, we will be reducing our blink cooldown to 1 second, which is really good. The minimum cooldown you can get on blink is 0.3, so Temperance is pretty overrated for this build. For our main skill setup is Elemental Weakness. This is the soul of the build. We are going to run the Spell Cascade so that we can cast 3 times at once, and then with Magnify Area for bigger AoE. Atalui Bloodletting is basically a life tap spell spot gems, but we have extra physical damage on top, which is limited to 1, so we put it on Elemental Weakness. Toad Ray Undoing is also the core item that makes this build. It will give us the Chaos Damage Explosion after we use the skill. So now our Elemental Weakness is doing damage, and this explosion also critting to give us energy to cast on crit and cast on ailment. I'm also running 2 Stillness. You can do Embittered Spot skill on this slot for the extra cold, more chance for freeze and chill for cast on ailment and cast on crit. For cast on crit setup, I will be running 2 Comet skill. The highest level I can get. More level, more damage. I will be running the Excel Torment for the random damage. Spell Cascade for more combat per cast. And Life Tap. On Mana Remnant, I'm also running Remnant Potency and Harmonic Remnant. Keep in mind that if you have more spirit, you can run these spot gems on this Mana Remnant. I can't now because my spirit is pretty capped, so I'm gonna put this on Life Remnant. On my Spark setup, I use Spark setup for mappings. When I want to go in map and find the beacons, it has bigger range and AoE, and I don't have to aim for anything. I would just cast Spark and Black Flame is gonna explode everything. So I'm running Janet on Spark, Pierce, Violenta Propulsion for increased projectile speed, Life Tap, and Wide Shot for additional projectiles. I'm also running Frost War. I'm gonna use it against bosses or at least against tanky rest monster in the temple. I'm running Spell Cascade of course for the utility support gem, so it can grant me volatility on crit, and I can get use of this note right here for the extra chaos damage, fortress for the circle, rapid casting, and life tap. On Archmage, we get a really high level Archmage, Lightning Mastery for +1 level, and Dire Desire for +1 and quality. This quality on Dire Desire will reduce the spirit cost of the skills. So we want to put this skill on Archmage because Archmage has 100 spirit. For cast on Elemental Ailment, we have 2 Fireball, very high level. Living Bomb because it will give us the fire infusion. Sooner Temper for additional projectiles. That's why you see the fireball will shoot into 8 direction like in the footage. And life tap. I have some spare spirits, so I'm going to run Arctic Armor for a bit of defensive. So Cold Mastery, Bounty, Freeze, Mana Flare, and Knockback. If you don't have enough spirit or you don't have access to just Druid or the spirit or the vertex, you can take up Archmage and Arctic Armor and you can still doing a lot of damage. On my old setup, I was running this Azeri rule instead of Covenant for leeching, and I don't have a scepter to give me spirit at all, and I still could able to clear the perfect tempo in 6-man party running. It's just a bit harder. So this is like the cheaper version of the build. If you don't have that much currency, you can afford this Azeri rule and still doing great damage. You could consider to use a scepter with 200 spirit instead of Palm of Dreamer. For our gears, we are running a 1 with extra cold, extra lightning, spell damage. I figure spell damage on the 1 is better than extra fire, and it has about 20% more damage. Then we're running plus all spell skill, cast speed, and crit. Higher crit is good. It helps us to reduce the reroll on the Oracle passive, but we could also running something like critical damage on this thing. Run Palm of Dreamer. Again, you can consider running any scepter with high spirit, mana, or intelligence to increase your mana. Running Vertex with +4 skill. The spirit is whatever. I figure you don't need this spirit because I could take off this Arctic Armor. We got a Solar Amulet with a really high spirit, trying to get the maximum spirit we can get. +3 level, and the rest is just mana, mana, and mana. So we want mana here on the ring as well. Cast speed, resistances, mana, cast speed, resistances, curses, whatever. It's just a dead mode right there. Very high energy shield or high mana on the gloves. Because with Eldritch Battery, it converts all my energy shield to mana, so energy shield is basically mana. Consider high energy shield on gloves and boots, and the rest is just resistances and movement speed. We could also consider to run these mana per kill or increase mana regen rate. I wanna put the Take God Gaze for increased life cost efficiency on the gloves to help us with the life cost, and magnitude of ailments for more shock magnitude. We're also running Oral Resolve and Legionias. You can choose to run any flask here. You can run like a instant recovery flask. Stun charm's really good. Recover life when used. Thorning charm and golden charm for the kill speed and extra lightning. Again, you don't need this. You can run anything. We do infinite damage anyway. That's how good this is. That is pretty much my gear. I'll put the POE in the description so you guys can check for more detail. You can play this build for a really cheap price.